Evan, if you were on with Jimmy Mack.
Yeah, the Laux.
Laux, yeah.
She got second, but she ran a very, very
Yeah.
fast time. And she
I did
lost to
not
the
see
girl
her
that beat her
results
last
from
year.
Laux.
But
Yeah,
she's
she's got,
She's
you know,
just
New England talent.
yeah, she's just. I've interviewed Grace many times. She, 400, 100, 200. She's good at it all. But she's just mature. She's mature.
very mature.
Yeah, she's
Running,
a really,
aiming,
really nice person.
even talking to her, just, she's fun to interview.
So we see the first heat of the girls Open 400 between Plymouth, who's going to take the first heat, and Winnisquam in second.
She's got a pretty good range, too. I mean, she runs the 100 up to the 400.
Yeah, I saw her. She ran the 100, I want to say, at the Merrimack Invite, but it's because she was going to Laux. So just trying to take it easy. But, yeah, just good. She runs a 4x1, too, I think. I want to say 4x4.
Yep.
Just depends on the meet.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. A lot of 100 runners, stick to 100, 200, and don't try the 4, at least not very often.
Right.
But
Sometimes,
she
yeah.
does all of them extremely well and, all the time, basically. So pretty impressive.
I'm not surprised that she ran a good time at Laux. You have all those
It's top caliber meet.
Yeah,
Top athletes.
competition you will never see, here.
That's the type of competition you see at Meet of Champions and those type of things. New England's that really pushes you. You might not win the event, but you're definitely going to run a fast time with it. So
Right.
you want to take advantage of when
I
you
mean,
can.
it's almost better, to come in last at a competitive meet and run a fast time than to win, some Tuesday meet.
Yeah, no, and I mean, yes, you go out there and you try to compete to the best of your abilities, but if you can go and drop a PR and still, and yes, like we all like to win, we're competitive, but being able to go and get 5th or 6th really does help, knowing that you can run a fast time. So this is the second heat of the girls 400 meter, and we have Amy Combs, Maisie Muir, Megan Metavier, Emily Vaccaro, Sarah Carpenter, Delaney Ross, and Caroline Marchand. Like Brad Marchand.
Daughter.
I don't know about that, but what about them Bruins?
Pretty good.
Let's hope that sweep doesn't come back to bite them in 11 days.
Yeah, got a lot of time off. Can sometimes be a bad thing.
It's good to recover, and it's kind of the same thing here. It's having time in between meets, but you also
get rusty.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want too much time in between. As we see, it looks like we have 2 Plymouth runners. We have Macy Muir and Megan Metavier racing down the final with Laconia on the outside looking in. Delaney Ross is going to take 3rd.
I know I always feel that in cross-country season when you have New England's, and then if you go to regionals, then it's usually 3 weeks after New England's. And so, basically you're training to be in peak shape from States to New England's. And then you have basically another month after that you're trying to stay sharp and in race shape. And then it gets to regionals, and, it's hard to be kind of on top of your game for that long.
Yeah.
Right. That is a long time. Especially not competing,
Right.
for the 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we used to do kind of like mock races in
Right.
practice just to kind of
Get that.
Time trial type
right,
things.
just to keep you in the racing
And
mindset.
I mean, and those can only do so much. I mean, I know we've done some time trials, especially for my first year in college, but it's just different. Racing against your teammates or racing against other teams just brings out something completely different in you. You know what I mean?
It's really not the
Yeah.
same.
It's not the same. You almost have a little bit more fun, and it's more of a bragging race for time trials against your team. But when you're out there competing against other teams, you don't want to lose. So it just brings out a little bit more of an edge. But yeah, it's necessary. It's a necessary evil, especially when you have a long season. But looking at the third and final heat of the women's 400 meter, we have Lily DeRozier, Sarah Huckman, Avril Prack, Natalie Frazier, Skylar Totkus, Delaney Kendall, and Jessica Bacchus, followed by Alexis Eckert. And Looks like we have a battle on the outside between Skylar Totkus and looks like Guilford's Natalie Frazier.
Up there with Laconia.
It's going to be close
It's
between
gonna be
those
a good
two.
one. Yeah.
Very close.
Who's gonna?
And it looks like Guilford's Natalie.
Oh, I don't even know. I think
That was
Laconia
close.
might have
Laconia
gotten
might
that
have.
one.
Skylar Totkus
I
from
don't
Laconia and
know.
Natalie Frazier at the very end. It's really anyone's race right there.
That was great.
It's definitely a photo finish.
A lot of tight races today.
Portsmouth Christian, Joey Bergeron, Bishop Brady, Trey Snowden of Kennett.
It's been a good day for that. I mean, it's nice to see fast times, you know, like Maya Doobie smashing the meet record, but
It's always nice to see some photo finishes
it's
too.
exciting to see
Yeah.
people
Right.
racing that close.
It's different energy, you know what I mean? Having a meet record is very cool because it's like it's a big accomplishment, but seeing a race go down to the wire and neck and seeing people lean and even fall sometimes, it just adds a whole new level of intensity.
It's fun.
Because I mean, you have to imagine if you're in the position to break a meet record, you know, it's a meet record for a reason. There's probably not
Many
other
people.
athletes in the same race that are also going for the meet record.
Right.
Behind the timing tent, meet up with Christy Eichel, Woodsville coach.
Hall, if you watch this,
No.
Jolie said just spilled Gatorade all over your lunch.
Okay, not all over, Hall. It was literally on a little bit, and I cleaned it.
He doesn't watch these.
Oh, thank God.
Let's hope he doesn't watch
He
this,
probably-
but this is the first heat of the men's 400 meters with Joe D'Amato, Joey Lennon, Eric Adams, Evan Griffin, and Sebastian Brem.
I'm okay with him watching this. I think we're doing great work.
Besides me just spilling my Gatorade on his computer, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
He watches about 30 seconds of these things, so not too worried.
but for everybody else watching this right now,
Some comedy gold.
but thank you very much.
But it's looking like some Molten Burrows.
It's so hard to see from here.
It looked like it could be Molten Burrows. Eric Adams in the lead pretty comfortably
Yeah.
over the pack. The battle for second is between Winnisquam and Winnisquam. So they're going to take second and third, followed by Laconia, who's in fourth and fifth.
Yeah,
That's
I had trouble reading the Dunkin' Donuts menu this morning, so
So
I
you
am-
definitely can't see down
I
there.
am no help trying to read these team names off the corner, like
Yeah.
150 meters away.
Good thing I remember to put my contacts in this morning. We would all be squinting to try to see what's going on.
We need some binoculars or something.
Yeah.
Man,
Put that out-
if only we had a
put that on
if
the
only
wish
we
list.
had a video feed of a zoomed in version of this race.
Yeah, like, like different cameras, different.
Oh look, what's that?
Oh, look at the
Weird.
TV.
A monitor right here.
Oh, wait, we do have that.
Come on, guys.
Girls 800 meters, we begin checking in. Girls 800
Honestly, the
meters.
worst thing is when, like, as for a sprinting event, especially like the 100 to 200, is when you get in your blocks and something happens and you have to do it all over again. Because you're,
Especially
you know,
if-
Any false
Especially
start
if you,
even.
Right.
especially if you start.
well, yeah,
and then
but,
they call you
But,
back.
sometimes, like, I watched, I think it was the Merrimack Invite, one of the girls, like, was tying her shoes as they were in blocks. He's like, stand up, whatever. And, you're getting in that mindset of, okay, I'm about to race, and then you have to stand up and do it all over again. It just messes up everything, honestly.
Especially in sprinting, where you kind of want everything to be
Well,
'cause you
perfect,
take off and that's
exactly,
your energy right there.
exactly as you want it to be.
We had that at Black Bear. Was it last year? Last year we had it. We had to restart 3 times.
Ooh.
we-
the 2 mile.
The 2 mile.
I
The first
remember
event
that.
of the day. The first event of the day. We had. It was one. It was like a timing issue, so we had to go back. Second one was a gun issue. We had to go back. The third time, thank God it happened, but we were able to go. But you go out, you stride out, you use some of your energy, you go back, you use more of your energy. So you're pretty
Right.
gassed going into it, and it kind of changes the whole thought process of the race.
Right.
But it's coming down to the wire right now. Looks like Guilford's
Results of
Max
women's
Steffen
4x100 meter
took
relay.
that one.
Sixth place prospect.
If I remember correctly, that race went out pretty slow just because
of
You're
no
right.
one felt like giving any
Any
effort
more
And they
energy.
already had
off the gun because it was probably going to get called back.
It's like, do I go now? Am I
Well, that's the
good?
thing. You throw some of that nervousness into it. Be like, should I even bother trying to go out right now? You know what I mean?
I remember in indoor one year, they had some issues with the timing system for the girls 3K right before our race, and they had to figure out the timing system, and it hadn't recorded like when people had crossed the finish line, so they had to match up each individual person with when they crossed, and they were looking at coaches splits and all this stuff to figure it out, and it took them about 20-25 minutes to figure all this out, and the whole time we were on the line waiting to go.
For 25 minutes.
Right.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
as soon as the girls finished, they were like, okay, hop on the
boys,
line,
let's
ready to
yeah.
go. And then we just sat there for almost a half an hour
Oh my goodness.
waiting for them to sort everything out. And that really screwed me up. You
You're
do
ready to
your
go.
warm up to be ready at the exact time.
Right.
So
And looking back over to this race, we have Nolan Gagnon from Belmont out front. We're going to see if he can hold that in. As you see Plymouth's Remy Beaujouan
coming on strong.
coming on strong.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to overtake the leader. And it looks like he's going to finish pretty comfortably in front, followed by two Kearsarge, where we had J.J. Davis and Edward Stoll, as well as we did have Belmont's Nolan Gagnon right in there too. So now we're going to move into the women's 300-meter hurdles like we talked about earlier. This will be the final event, men's and women's 300-meter hurdle of the hurdles for the day. In the first of two heats, we have Olivia Wadendorf and Autumn Braley. Wadendorf from Franklin and Braley from Newfound Regional. And it's kind of nice having a 6 to 8 lane track because you're able to kind of put the athletes into the middle lanes, which are preferred lanes, as you've talked about a little bit. Now, why do people believe that those are the faster lanes, the preferred lanes?
Well, I don't think it matters so much in 100, but definitely, when you're going around the turn, you want that middle lane. So because when you're on the outside, it's just harder to. I don't know. It's like more of a turn almost.
Okay.
So you have more ground to catch up. So.
And I wonder if it's also plays into the stride length too. I mean, if you're on one of the inside lanes, you almost want to go to the outside of that lane because you're able to open up your stride a little bit more. It would make sense. I know, especially for distance running. I was told last year one of the things they recommended is when you're going into the turn, try to stay to the outside of it because you're allowed to open up your stride a little bit more. It's not as sharp of a turn. So I feel like the middle lanes would be good for that because you don't have to worry about changing up your stride to adjust to the lane.
I feel like it's also a little different for distance runners, on that turn. Because I know when running the 200, you have to run with the curve. So you're literally
So you're leaning
so
in.
you lean
Okay, that
with the
makes sense.
curve, and most of the time you end up on the inner side because you're leaning that way anyway. So you're leaning.
Yeah, in distance you're not really going fast enough for
that to make a
the-
difference.
the tightness of the turn to
Right.
make a difference. But if you're sprinting all out,
Well, when it comes down to the final lap, you know what I mean?
right?
Yeah.
But
play hard
if
to
if you're sprinting like a 200,
Boys, 800
the tight
meters,
turns
checking in.
can
Boys,
be
800
slower
meters.
than the wide turns. That's why you see sprinting is usually a lot slower in indoor because the turns are so tight.
Right. They are. Yeah. Yeah. Indoor and outdoor is so different. I don't know about for distance, but definitely for.
Yeah, distance not
sprints.
really too much different,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely for sprints. The indoor turns are so tight.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Especially UNH's track.
Yeah, 160.
160 banked.
Yeah, it's
That-
always,
That's what I was gonna
always
say,
nice
it's
to run on a
like-
200-meter track.
Yeah.
For the winter, I came back for Christmas break, tried to do a 400-meter workout in there.
That's tough.
It's
It's tough.
it's a lot harder. You don't think it makes that big of a difference, but when you're trying to run fast, that short of a track definitely plays a part.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like trying to drive a car around a hairpin. It's like slows you down.
So this is the first of 2 heats in the women's 300-meter hurdles.
Dylan Dickey of Laconia.
Interesting, we have
Lucas
2
Matto
people
of
in
Belmont.
one heat and 8 in
Forrest
the other.
Rivernau of White
Do
Mountain.
you think maybe they try to reseed it a little bit?
Well, yeah, they're going the
Mark
the
McDonald
slowest to
of
fastest
Fultonboro.
in the heat, so they're trying to pack that
Yeah,
that
it makes sense.
last heat as much as they can to make it
Weston of
as competitive as
Guilford,
it can be.
Cale Swanson
But
of Plymouth Region.
for those of you just
Those are the
tuning in,
finalists
this
for men's
is
javelin.
NewHampshireTrackandField.com, powered by Runners Alley, coming to you from the 2019 Wilderness League Championships. Today's Meet Hub is sponsored by Tim's Truck Capital. And we're moving along in this meet pretty well. It's being pretty time efficient, moving on in events pretty
I
quickly.
know we only have an hour and 15 to hit.
And there we go with
Sorry, I had to take pictures there.
Newfound Regional.
I'm doing
Autumn
my
Bradley
actual
taking that.
job.
So now we're going to go into the second heat. Now this one's going to consist of 8 athletes filling up the entire track. Starting off with Sarah Sponenberg, Emma Ramsey, Kate Cochran, Sana Saeed, Gwen Pelchat, Tama Ronish, Reese Clark, and Annabelle Townsend.
So as this is recorded, if you were watching this on, I guess it's up on YouTube, the pictures from this meet that I've been taking will be up on NewHampshireTrackandField.com. So if you go there and go under the Photos tab, they're all organized by meet, and you can click on the 2019 Wilderness Championships and see all of the pictures from today to go along with this video broadcast.
And you could find any of the other pictures from other meets as well as cross country in the same spot videos
And even
photos.
for the last couple years.
Going back to
Yeah.
around 2016, at least I know that for cross country, and tracks probably 2016, 2017 it goes back to.
Yeah, I think there's some cross pictures from all the way back 2014, 15, I think.
You can see any winners' interviews too on NewHampshireTrackandField.com. Just bring you to a link to YouTube.
And as we see White Mountains, Tama Ronish is going to take that one pretty comfortably, followed by Belmont's Sana Saeed. We're going to go into the men's 300-meter hurdles. There's only going to be one heat of that, packed full. We have Sienna Shane Laris from Interlakes, William Walker, Hunter Arsenault, Matt Libby, Aiden Rupp, Jonas Bellido, Logan Rhines, and Riley Chase. It looks like we're pretty well represented throughout the teams, one of each.
Just gotta wait for the hurdle crew to bring up the height for the guys level. Got a fly attack.
There was a bug. I'm sorry.
Might have just
That
pierced my
kinda
eardrums.
scared- I'm so sorry. Oh.
This could be my last broadcast as I can't hear anything.
You don't need to hear anything, you just need to talk.
Right.
It's fine.
It's true. Remember, this is the one and only heat of the men's 300-meter hurdles.
I feel like we need a cool tagline for New Hampshire Track and Field. Like Runners Alley has, supporting your every step.
So,
You didn't know that?
no, I knew
Evan,
that.
you work there.
I was
No,
gonna
no,
say.
no.
Dale.
Hey. It's only my first day. I'm a rookie.
So,
Yeah, I'm trying
I
to
think we should have a New Hampshire Track and Field tagline. You go, New Hampshire Track and Field.
Yeah. I agree.
whatever the tagline is.
Just say tracking your every step. I don't know.
Okay, now you're just stealing. That's plagiarism.
Okay, well we're powered by Runners Alley, so we can work with them. But coming down the final straightaway, we have Newfound's Matt Libby with a pretty comfortable lead over Belmont's Aiden Rupp, who's going to try to grab second.
We got a tumble.
Got a little tumble by White Mountains.
Looks all right.
But good recovery on his part.
Yeah, we were talking about yesterday. We see that a bit more often in the 300 hurdles than the 100 hurdles or 110 hurdles. As you know, you're a bit more tired after running 300 meters and jumping over hurdles at the same time. So people kind of run out of gas the last 1 or 2 hurdles and not quite go over it.
Right. I wonder how running because I've never run 300-meter hurdles, how it differs from like a 200 or a 400. Like, how do you? I wonder how they run. I should ask that in one of my interviews how they run it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm curious.
I ran it once, but I don't know like how I should have run it.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't really know at all what I was doing, since it was by far the shortest race that I've done, and I had to jump over hurdles.
We are now joined back by Tim Cox.
Who's in this 800? Where's our list?
We do not have a list currently.
Oh, that's tremendous. Scott Clark showing his right arm there.
Yep, a little beam to the head.
Where is our sheet? Have they been coming still? Did you have them for the 4x1s?
Yeah, they've been coming, but they've been coming a little delayed a little bit here.
Okay.
Now this one, the timing might be off by about a second or so as we were a little distracted, but still pretty close to what we have. And
hey, 12:01.
Yeah, we were talking about
1:15. I think he's on pace. That's why I came over here all confident and such.
Might have to go and delay something in a minute, so I might hop off.
He's
but
feeling good. His prediction's coming true.
Might have to go and throw some hurdles on the track randomly, but got to keep that 130
Our
mark.
sign keeps blowing away a little bit. Maybe that'll blow on the track and delay things.
But yeah, so
It'd be nice to have a sheet.
It would. I mean,
Sheets are helpful.
right now it looks like we have
Where's
one
our
athlete up
person?
front, working by herself, followed by the, as Tim would like to say, the peloton.
The stationary bike.
But yeah, so this is the 800-meter run by the Open 8 of the women's. As we talked about here and there with the 800-meter run, that first lap, anyone can run a pretty fast 400-meter, but it's really what happens when you get into that second lap is can you battle and can you go and push yourself through the wall that you're going to hit and try to even split, if not negative split, that time.
I mean, it's just that second lap is so hard, so painful that's really where you see a lot of stuff happen. Because, like you said, you know, anybody can just blitz a 400.
Well, as we saw yesterday, Winslow went out at a 53.
Yeah, which is really insane.
He was trying to go out in around a 50.
I think he wanted to run around 56.
56, so he's 3 seconds off. And then you look at his final time, he got 156. He wanted that 153, 154.
Right.
You know, it's the 3 seconds off. So it's kind of that conversion. If you go too fast, you might be off by that time.
Which means he ran 53 and then came back in a 63, 64.
Yeah.
So that's you don't want to drop that big. You know, most people do positive split on 800, but you want it to be around 2, 3, 4 seconds.
If you can get within that 2 to 3 seconds, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah,
anything after that is kind of a little bit of dramatic cutoff.
Yeah, that's kind of the optimum range is like around 2-3 seconds of drop off.
Because we see Belmont surging down here with Guilford in second, followed by Plymouth and Messinic for the top 4 spots. And it looks like Belmont's going to be able to hold on with Guilford coming right in second, Messinic pushing for third, and Plymouth around at the top 4.
Second heat coming on the track now.
So we're going to go into the second heat of the girls 800-meter open. And we have White Mountains, Kennett, Kingswood, Kearsarge, Brady, more Kennett. Looks like some Woodsville, Guilford, Winnisquam, Kearsarge, and to round it out, Guilford.
Heat 202. This is Blaine LeChance from White Mountains. Eva Drummond from Kennett. Rosemary Carpenter from Kingswood. Avril Prack from Kearsarge. Abigail Shagina from Bishop Brady.
Caitlin Fay from Kennett. Nye Adamkowski from Woodsville. We've seen her before. Lindsay Sanderson from Guilford. Faith Goslin from Winnisquam. Ada Gardner from Kearsarge. And to round it out, we have Samantha Holland from Guilford.
I don't know, man. During the 200s, I'm going to go talk it up to Scott. 115. Probably the most efficient. I thought we
This
ran
is
an
very
efficient track meet.
Very efficient.
Wait. Does 115 count the field events ending? Does it count the field events ending? That's a question.
That's a good question.
I think the whole track and field meet needs to be over by the time that we stated.
So
correct?
I could be. I could be.
I mean, as we saw in
Mr. Shiltanis.
in Exeter last night.
So Scott Clark said we're going to be done at 1:15 today. What do you think? What about the field events? What do you think about the?
No idea about the field events.
All right.
You're working with Scott. No slowing down. I don't have time for the I gotta go back. No, you don't.
Yeah, chop chop. Next event.
That was Richard Shiltanis, one of our great officials from the state of New Hampshire. They're through the first lap in 70, 71. That's 220 pace. And that's
the top two seeds right here.
That's LeChance making a move.
Chance and Drummond.
Yeah, making a move. Drummond's covering the move.
Carpenter's kind of in no man's land right now, but she's going to see if she can pull something together. She's going to pull something together in the splash straight away.
Scott and I, about 2 hours.
And Scott's usually the first one out of the parking lot.
Talking to one of the meet officials here, talking about how Scott likes to get things going.
Yeah, but I mean, I was saying in Exeter last night, you know, they got those running events done quick, but
we were right on that starting line, and they were go.
They still had pole vault and long and triple jump going for another half an hour, 45 minutes. So.
Well, and that's a trend I kind of see with some of the other meets. I mean, we looked at Oyster River this past weekend. It's the same thing. Pole vault was still going on.
We have a question for you though. So Scott Clark, meet director, 115 was your prediction. Does that include the field events, or is that just for track? Okay, so that's the bet. I'm backing you up.
I gotta get these kids out of here.
Look at this race.
And White Mountains, Blaine LeChance will take that with a slim margin over Kennett's Ava Drummond. Great race by those two. Kingswood's Rosemary Carpenter will take third.
That was a phenomenal race. That's
phenomenal
finish. That's why we love this sport. Just you never know when a great competition is going to come, and each kid is giving.
Forget the times. Forget the times. Yes. You look at just the competition around.
I agree.
And a finish like that really brings the energy up.
I agree. All right, here we go for heat. That's heat 202. So we're going to the boys.
Going to the first heat of the men's 800-meter open, we have Eli Misavage from Interlakes, Oscar Miller from Bishop Brady, Joe DeTola from Interlakes, Henry Moneypenny, nice name, from Kennett, David Brackett from Portsmouth Christian, Kingswood's Tim Huckman. From there you have Maxwell Brown from Bishop Brady, Camden Padden from Kingswood, Luke O'Halloran from Portsmouth Christian, Nicholas Cameo from Newfound Regional, Deuce Smith from Prospect Mountain, and to round it out, we have Chris Pear from Belmont.
Athletes should be checked in at this time. Again, you're checking in behind.
We got a tumble right off the bat. So in
down
theory,
the
that should be a
200-meter
restart, but it
area.
doesn't look like we're going to get that here.
Didn't call anything. Hey, 115. Gotta get going.
Yeah, 115. So just to clarify, Scott Clark says it's going to be field events as well. Everybody kind of has their prom plans to get to.
Yeah, I
We've
know
been
I
there.
need to get
We've
ready
been
for
there.
A
that.
lot of proms.
Yeah, I got to go. Got my suit in the car, actually. I'm going straight from here.
Boys, it does not sound right. Moving on.
A little old for that now.
College prom. Colleges
go.
have prom.
Yeah, I'm
There you
flying
go.
out to Michigan after this. And gonna go to prom.
Let's just stop talking about that.
Okay. Back to the
Back to the meet.
Oscar
Back
Miller
to
with
the
the
meet.
early lead. Oscar Miller with the early lead. And David Brackett off his mile first heat win is hanging tough. And that's Luke O'Halloran. They're working together again to try to make some ways in this these early heats of the 800.
We're seeing a lot of familiar faces in these last couple events of the
It's for
afternoon.
the bragging rights, man. Teams want
Really
to
is.
place high. They want to be excited about this. Zach Ennis is going to come back next. Valancourt's coming
It's
back
for a
in the
triple.
next heat for this triple. They were saying, and Tebow, who was like bent over a garbage can after that 4x8.
That's a tough triple.
It is
8,
a-
16, 8.
That is pretty tough. We might have a couple kids doing that next week though. So
That's hard.
Yeah, but anything for the state meets.
I won't say.
we'll see.
Oh, that's fine. That triple's easy.
Triple's pretty tough.
Yeah, it is.
State
4
meet have a
by
little
8.
bit more time though. The 4x8
Yeah.
is first, and then they
I remember indoor. I did that last
16 though. They're not gonna have a lot of time between the 16 and the 8
No,
this year.
there's not much.
There's the 8-lane track. There's only 16
year. Exactly.
for every now. I mean,
Yeah.
UNH hosting the division meets. There's going to be some slight changes and some slight
It's
strategies
going to be a lot
changes.
faster, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at this
especially
pack
the
coming
sprinting
in behind
Oscar Miller has a
behind
pretty
Miller, but
comfortable
look at the
lead.
pack coming in after, and he's at 210, 211, 212.
Wow, we got
This is a
Newfound.
battle. 3 guys for second place.
Newfound and Inner Lakes. We have Newfound's Nicholas Cameo coming in for second.
Nicholas Camo.
Camo. Followed by Inner Lakes. Joe DeTola. That was a great finish. We're going into the second heat of the men's Open 800, and we have Zach Ennis, Edward Stowell, Dylan Robert, Landon Valancourt, Keith Badger, Brent Coop, Logan Thibault, Ryan Mason, Dakota Samaro, Kyle Mann, and Riley Mann.
yeah, we'll see
So Mann brothers.
who's got energy left for this, because most of these guys did 4x8, 16.
My pick is Ennis again.
Should be interesting.
Well, let's hope there's not a tumble on this one. And they are out.
Valancourt getting out hard.
Looks pretty clean, really hard.
Looks like he's stealing second.
Huh. That's
He's
one
not
way to go
hanging
out.
He's mad about that mile.
He's been playing baseball this spring as well, so
Wow.
Really.
maybe he's practicing to steal second and third at the same time because
Huh.
he's still ripping.
He's going home.
Does he know this is an 800?
It looks like he's practiced for the 200.
He's like, Coach, I thought you put me in the 4.
He only went out in 26 seconds for the first 200.
Did he really?
Yeah, that's what he just did.
And now you can definitely see the fatigue setting in.
No, he's just settling in. He'll be fine.
That was a quick 200.
Ennis goes right around. Let's see if Valancourt can respond.
And it's looking really smooth going down the straightaway with Kennett right on his shoulder.
It's
Valancourt
Keith
kind of
Badger
dropping
from
off.
Kennett.
And then you have
Kingswood.
Brent Coop in third right there.
Yep. They're through in 60, 59-60.
We're going to see if we could possibly see a low
That's
two.
gonna. Kearsarge just went off the track to pass on the inside. Edward Stoll.
You see Valancourt is definitely struggling right now after
Way to
he went
call
out
him
pretty fast.
Hey, Ernie! I saw that. I don't know, man.
Humpty Dumpty was pushed.
Back to the race. They threw the 200 about 129, 130. This could be a sub 2 minutes. I
It's
mean,
very
if Ennis
good.
can double back to that, that'd be great. But he's getting some pressure there.
That's a good
Yeah,
double.
Kennett's right on his shoulder. We have Keith Badger from Kennett looking to really apply some pressure going into this final
Badger's
straightaway
looking
here.
to attack.
What did he go with? 431 this
But then we have
16?
Brent
Brent-
Coop on the
Brent
outside.
Coop, he could scare everybody. He could sneak up on Ennis. Here we go. Coop is giving it everything he's
Coop
got.
is really going for it. We
Ennis
see
is just trying to power away to go to the win. And it's going to be Ennis. Zach Ennis in
Ennis in a
202.
202.
Game
Brent
fight
Coop,
by Coop.
great finish by him, placing second right there in a 202, 203.
Nice race by Badger.
Great race.
Wow. Good work. Good work by the triples by Messinic. All right, we got some 200s coming up.
It's like
I
Valancourt
think it looks like Jalais is going to come back over here for those 200s. I'll be back for the
didn't fare
32s.
too well off
Sounds
that
good.
26.
So we're going to hop into the women's 200 meters. We have 3 heats of this. In the first heat, it looks like we might only have one participant.
I
And
would imagine they
Jasmine
might
Long,
reseed
but
that,
It would
hopefully.
but it looks like the other 2 heats are full, so she might be
Ooh.
running this on her own.
That was unfortunate.
Sixth place, Mason Dumont from Kingswood.
Yeah, they give her somebody to run
This
with.
is more of a time trial, if anything, for her. But
That's
definitely
tough.
take advantage of it and see what she can do here. Jasmine Long is from Franklin.
Does she get to pick her own lane? That'd
Looks
be
like
nice.
she's going to be in lane 5, which is
bad.
still a pretty good lane.
Yeah.
11 and 1/2 inches.
No, it is a good lane for 200.
But I would like to give a shout out back out to Cody Tangwa, who is our videographer today.
Perched precariously up on his little high camera stand.
Pretty sketchy. That's an incredible. We just had a paper fly off and hit the leg of the,
Got
the
caught
tent
by
right
the
there.
tent post.
It's pretty impressive. But going back to Cody, he's got a weird perch up there. His one foot's on the fence, one foot's on the stand, but he hasn't fallen yet today. So shout out to him.
Is that OSHA compliant?
Let's let's keep OSHA out of this. We got a lot of violations over here. So going back to the
Evan, shut up.
to the 200. Wow, this is women's 4x8. This isn't the beginning of the meet. Interesting. But back to what I was saying. We're it looks like we're gonna have one person in this first heat of 3 in the women's 200.
Very strange.
Which is not something you see every day.
It's also not ideal. You know,
Yeah.
you have no one
I feel
to run
I feel
against.
bad.
Yeah, she's probably nervous.
Like you enter a meet and then they make you run by yourself.
She's
Spotlight's on her right now.
yeah.
I know, that's tough.
Looking
Maybe
pretty
that'll
good
give her
coming at
some-
the turn.
some
Basically like a time trial,
Mhm.
but you're in a meet. That's very strange.
She's doing really well.
Hey, I love it. I love to hear the clapping. I like the crowd getting into it.
Yeah.
And great
Great
effort.
run.
Great
Yeah.
effort from her.
That was great. Yeah, you definitely don't see that too often.
So now we're going to get into the second heat.
All right, we're on the second heat of the women's 200. So we have Amanda Doherty, Maisie Muir, Alexa Botello, Lizzie Wilbur, Aliana Marietta, Sophia Sweet, Delaney Ross, and Alexis Poole. I don't know, Evan, you might be better at these names than I am.
I've had some practice,
Some
but
of them are tough.
it's
Yeah.
always kind of fun to see how people pronounce names, you know.
Yeah.
Over in the center of the field, the infield, we got boys javelin going on. Someone just launched one. Good throws going on.
It's always kind of nice to have everything, the field events, relatively centered
close
around the
together.
track, so you can kind of see it wherever you're sitting.
Yeah, keep an eye on everything at once. You know, certain venues you have them kind of
Spread out.
more
out.
spread
different,
out.
Different
Yeah.
spots.
Hard to keep track of them all. So, but
Yeah, it's
everything's pretty central here.
It's kind of nice to be able to find one spot that you like and just kind of stay there for the whole day.
Yeah.
But this
Got
move,
high jump right in front of us, jab right in front of us, long jump on the back straight.
pole vault over there, which has concluded today, but it was over
Yep,
there
and
earlier.
shot, I believe, was down that other end as well. Not sure where they're doing disc. Oh,
Disc.
disc is in the baseball field over there, I think, right?
I saw disc over in the field on the very far.
Okay.
You see that like fence type thing
Okay,
right there?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
in the back, that's where it is.
All right, so you'll see it as the 200 runners pass it
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah.
And then we are off in the second heat of the girls 200-meter dash.
Once they come around that turn, it kind of evens out. We've got it's lane 4.
Yep, looks like lanes
So,
4 is it looks like
that'd be
Kingswood.
Lizzie Wilbur from Kingswood. She takes that heat.
Enter Lakes in second.
Yeah, Inner Lakes would be Aliana. All right, so moving on to the third and final heat of the women's 200. We've got Brianna Fraser from Guilford, Skylar Takas from Laconia. I feel like we've said that name a lot today. I feel
The
like she's-
doubles and triples out there.
yeah. Natalie Fraser, Guilford. Tara Smoker, we saw earlier, Plymouth Regional.
Smoked 'em.
Yep. Julia Mara, Molten Borough. Delaney Kendall from Portsmouth Christian. Catherine Lurs from Plymouth Regional. And Elizabeth Morrison from
I hope
Kingswood.
I'm on the mic at State so I can make that joke again.
And she is in the preferred lane.
Pretty
so
good.
She might smoke them again.
And we are really cruising through this meet.
Yeah. I feel like it feels later than it actually is.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
because
know.
I got here so early.
I actually
Still
might have
in-
some of the day to enjoy.
Right?
We still have an hour left until Scott's prediction, and we're
We're
about halfway done with 200. It's pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah, really. And we're about to get into the 2 mile, which will take some
Right.
time.
Yeah.
It's about 12, 13
good.
minutes.
25 minutes total.
For the for the females, and then we're gonna get to the males. But
Alright. And
looks
it
like we have
looks.
Plymouth
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Guess who it is?
Smoked them.
Smoked them.
Laconia and Plymouth again, looking for the. Looks like Laconia might have got second on that one, followed by Plymouth again. So
I almost got decapitated by this mic.
we're gonna hop into the men's 200 meter.
All right. So 4 heats of the men's 200. In the first heat, we got 4 out of the 8 lanes. We've got Caleb Perlius from Prospect Mountain, Sammy Sarkis from Woodsville, Aaron. Honestly, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that last name.
Let me see.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Desvanska.
Death Vonska.
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. From Laconia, and Charlie Carroll Burr from Belmont.
Evan, I think we were a little too kind and a little too impressed by Maya Doobie's meet record today, because we shall not forget that she almost killed us with a javelin this morning.
That is very
Oh.
true. We are.
Threw it right at us.
We're just here minding our business,
Almost
trying
got
to
impaled.
enjoy the beautiful day. And next thing you know, we hear a big crash, and
So
woof,
Maya, if
javelin right in
you're,
front of us.
if you're watching this, we do not forgive you.
but congratulations.
Yeah.
Eh.
And as it looks like we have Woodsville is going to take first heat, followed by Prospect Mountain and
Boys
Laconia.
3200 could begin checking in. Boys 3200.
We're going to go into the second heat of the men's 200 meter dash.
And we've got a full 8 lanes in this one. So we've got Ben Gosselin from Kingswood, Owen Carney from Inner Lakes, Cooper French from Winnisquam, Aiden Anderson from Newfound Regional, Kale Swanson from Plymouth Regional, George Cheney from Portsmouth Christian, Nick Travers from White Mountains, and Keegan Moore from Laconia.
See, Evan, they were worried about the disc yesterday at Seacoast. You know, people getting hit
Yeah.
with that. You can be sitting in your own tent and still get hit with a javelin. So
It's very true.
nowhere is safe. Got to keep your head on a swivel.
The most incredible part about that is they didn't even throw the javelin.
So I'm like super nerdy, and sometimes when track and field is on TV, I'll watch it just for fun. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
if you guys do that. But I was watching. There was this one kid. It was college, and something happened where he had backed into a javelin or something and like punctured something. Like he got
Really?
seriously hurt from it. Yeah, and has been
Wow.
out for the season because of it. He's recovered and is expected to make a return. But I feel like you don't hear too many stories like that.
No, and that's
pretty crazy.
There's some
Yeah.
unfortunate accidents that happen in track and field. It just comes with the sport. You have javelin and discus, shot put. Not as much shot put, but we've had some discus injuries that have happened throughout
Yeah.
the state.
Yeah, I mean, shot put at least is like short enough and
Right, you don't
kinda
throw it
That
that
it's in a
far.
it's in
Slow
a pit
velocity.
generally too.
Right.
But
but yeah, I mean, disc and jav, they just throw so far and so fast that
if it hits you.
it's kind of hard to keep track of.
Do you guys remember? I think it was last year. One of the meets, one of the Oyster River girls got hit in the back of the ankle with a disc.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
and I think it was there was a state meet. The state
Yes.
meet last year. There
at
was someone that
States
got
up
hit
in
too.
Kennett.
Yep.
I think that was the meet.
Yeah.
I
Was
think
it?
it was.
Someone
I think
got
it was.
hit. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
the state meet, it was that kind of, yep.
gotta watch out
So it's
Gotta
one of
be
those things you
careful
got to
when
have your
you're-
head on a swivel.
when you're
You really do.
crossing the infield.
Infield,
pay
the track,
attention.
anything. You really have to pay attention.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like javelins are, incredibly sharp, but if they're going fast enough, they'll do some damage.
We see them coming around into the final straightaway. We have a battle, it looks like, between possibly Plymouth and Portsmouth Christian, with Franklin on the outside. It looks like Portsmouth Christian and Franklin are going to battle it out, and it looks like, very close, very
What do you
close.
think, Portsmouth?
I don't know. I mean,
It would have been.
I had my eye on Portsmouth Christian, but it looks like Franklin was right there.
Results of the men's 800.
Tough
In
call.
sixth place,
Whole heat was pretty close.
Yeah, it was.
In fifth place,
All right, so that was the third heat of the 200. So now we're moving on to the fourth and final heat of the men's 200. So we got Max Steffen from Guilford,
Kingswood, and the winner of the men's
Mikhail
800
Merrill from Interlakes, Devin Wade from Kingswood, Chris Caputo from Kennett,
8-7
Remy
from Belmont,
Bourgeois
Jack
from
Kennett.
Plymouth Regional, Hunter Hicksman from Windsquam, Bryce Hill from Kennett, and Lucas Matthew. Is that how you say that? From
Yeah,
Belmont.
looks like it.
Results of the men's long jump.
Sometimes you just got to say it and stick with it.
Yeah.
You should like go through those and pronounce everything fine, and then get to
Belmont.
Bryce Hill
Right.
and,
Have you seen-
Yeah,
and
just-
mispronounce
seen-
that
mispronounce
one.
it.
Have you seen the Key and Peele when they're announcing the football names?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's
yeah.
all these crazy ones.
Kevin Sean
And the guy, what is the guy's like?
in first place.
Florida State University,
The jump of 20-foot.
Georgia State University.
Chris Caputo.
Yeah.
Like his name is a college.
Yeah. No, there's definitely some interesting names out there, but be proud of it.
All right.
And,
It looks pretty even coming down the stretch, but
Very
it looks
close
like
in between,
Kennett,
but it looks like Kennett's going to probably take
Chris
this one
Caputo.
with Winnisquam in
Right.
second.
Winnisquam, which would be Hunter Hinksman.
Man, I feel like Caputo's been
Yeah,
up
he's
there
strong.
he's been there for a while though.
Yeah.
I remember him when I was in high school.
Me too. He's really strong at I think it's long jump. He
Hmm.
usually tends. Does he pole vault too? I think he might pole
I'm
vault.
not, he
I don't
might.
know.
He might. I'm
Long
not.
And I
jump
know
sounds
he's
good.
very strong in long jump.
Yeah.
I know a lot of meets that he goes to, he's in the top or wins it. So,
Yep.
yeah, very strong.
So it looks like we're about to get into the 3,200 meter run. And we're waiting to see who
Who's in
is in it.
Doesn't look
It's
like we
it's
have it
funny to
yet.
see if people kind of start performing at a high level freshman sophomore year, and you don't really realize that they're that young, and then the next
They're here for,
3
like-
or 4 years
Yeah.
they're
Right.
competing, and you're like, man, when is this person gonna graduate?
So this is the women's 3,200 meter, and there's going to be one heat, and it's starting off with Lisa Corsa, who we saw earlier in the 4x8 with a solid
lot
final
of
leg.
doubles in this race.
Where the second seed right here, Maya Walcooley, has scratched, so we're going to go into Alice Riley from Belmont, Quinn Aldrich, Vanessa Janakos, Maya Callahan, Laura Renner, Marley Richer, Sierra Abrams, Victoria Smith, Sydney Bain, Amy Burton, and that will round out the girls 3,200.
It's interesting to see yesterday at Seacoast, most of the 3,200 runners in that meet were fresh and just running the 32. But in this race, most of these girls have already run an event or two.
And like we were talking about, they could be going for the Seacoast title. I mean, yeah, this is the Wilderness Championship title. But this also could be a primer to really get those legs warmed up for the state meet coming in a week.
Get some practice in, tripling, doubling, tripling.
We see Lisa Corzo going out hard, taking the lead and kind of doing her own thing already
To be expected.
about 100 meters into this race.
How's her seed time looking on the... Do you have it?
I'm going to look up her seat time as we speak.
I think this is Alice Riley's last race in her home track,
Really?
which actually she had a season off because of the track reconstruction, but she's doing really, really well.
And looking at the seat time for Lisa Corso, she comes in with 11:15.64, and that's about 42 seconds above anyone else on the track currently, followed by Maya Wilcooley, who is not racing today in the 3,200 meter. But then following is Alice Riley with a 12:07.
Who's the Messinic girl?
The Messinic is 12:44, which is Quinn Aldrich.
I think the last race I ran at Co-Brown was the 300 hurdles.
Senior day.
Senior
Yeah.
day.
I bet you a lot of schools have that senior day, that have tracks where it's senior day where you get to do an event that you've never tried before in a meet. And it's just a great way to kind of end a scholastic career. These guys are coming through in 93, 94. What was that first lap for Corso?
I didn't grab it when she went through.
We'll see where we're at 800, give you a sense of what pace she's on. Alice Riley is that staunch veteran. She's going to run her pace. And the Messina girl, we'll see. She 12:44. She went out a little swift for that, but that's how you kind of work your way into a possible breakthrough race.
Coach, what would you have said to me if I wanted to run the 300 hurdles?
Well, now
No, just as
you
as
hurt
my-
yourself now.
He wouldn't even let me do pole vault for the senior meet.
Well, pole vault's a little more involved than you think, Evan.
Yeah, I tried it once. And
I did
realized
pole
how
vault
hard
for
it was.
decathlon. It's pretty tough.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get off the ground.
I probably would have said yes, Davio, if you want to try 300 hurdles.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I
the
was
same,
terrible at
Same
300
kind of strength.
hurdles.
Well, yeah, your hurdle form, I would have. Wait, I think I laughed at one point when I saw you.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
All right, Corso's coming up.
Just gonna go through.
240 is about 82nd pace. 241, 242.
242.
So right now, that's pretty not too shabby. That's sub 11 pace.
And you got to remember, she's doing this by herself.
Yep,
It's
sub
not
11
the easiest
place.
thing.
And 251 through the first 800 for Alice Riley. And then 256 from Messinic.
And it's hot out.
It's true.
I don't think it's that hot. I think it's actually really nice right now.
I
a
mean, it's
slight
nice for
breeze
you
to
as a
cool it off.
spectator.
No, I think
if
it's
you were
okay for
no,
them
if
too.
you were running a 3200 right now, it'd be too hot.
So what is your prime conditions if you look at for a race like this?
Personally, for me, it's 50.
Yeah,
in the
that's about
50s.
me. Yeah, 50s are for
50
me.
and cloudy.
But 60s is anywhere in the 50s and 60s we're fine.
Yeah,
70, you want
70s
to
is a little too
overcast.
hot.
You want to overcast with no humidity.
Yep.
Yeah,
What would you?
humidity is
Okay,
rough.
what would you rather run in 95-degree heat or 45 degrees in rain?
45 in
in
rain.
Me too.
Because you can adapt to that.
Absolutely.
How would sprinters respond to that?
Opposite.
The
Yeah.
opposite, exactly. So I think I'm talking more from a coach standpoint with the 60s because you
Then
get the
it's
60s.
kind of evened out for
Everyone can
everybody.
actually.
Yeah.
It's not perfect for anyone, but it's not awful at all.
Right. Yeah, because you have the two extremes. You know, either the distance runners
Or the
are hurting
sprinters.
or the spinners are hurting.
Yep.
So Corso coming up through. This is going to be
About a
406 again, another 80, 83, 84. She's
It's
just kind of clicking them
consistent.
off. Yep, clicking them off.
Well, talk about the weather. This is why today's pretty much perfect all around. All these events can do pretty well with
It's
the
a
weather.
nice day.
Alice Riley just came through in a 421, 422 for 1,200 meters.
And we have Messinic's Quinn Aldrich
Coming through in 431. They just did the grinder this week, a workout that Coach
Oh, I've
Smith
heard about this.
has, and
What is this?
on the dirt roads. He calls it the grinder. I never,
Sounds scary.
can never focus long enough to listen to exactly what they do because I hear the grinder
And you start
and I
chuckling.
just start chuckling. But
Yep.
I also know that's tough because out in New Ipswich, there's no flat area at all, and they don't have a track. So I could just imagine what he dreams up to put his athletes through the grinder
Yep.
and to get them ready. But you can't argue with results. Smith always has his kids ready at the right time. So that's the next week, and he does the best with what he has as far as facilities, and he's got the guys believing, and they believed enough to have 3 great efforts today. So we got Lysa Corso coming up. She's on about 11 flat pace, 11.0 pace right now. It's going to be hard for her to keep this pace, just speaking from experience. 5:33 through the 2, that was an 87. Through the mile, 5:33 through the mile, that's 11.06 pace, but that was an 87. It's just hard to do this without any help.
Especially these next couple laps are
Tough.
especially hard.
I mean, if she had some help there, or some competition with like media champions, even D3s
Yeah, I'm
next
looking
week,
forward
she's
to
gonna
those
go
races
fly.
where she's going to have some competition, just because that might be good for her to really get that competitive edge.
Alice Riley on 11:50 pace through 1600, and this is Quinn from Messinic. She's going to be on about 12:10 pace. This could be a big PR for her. Did you say her seat time was 12:40?
For Quinn Aldrich, yes.
Wow,
Quinn
she's on
Aldrich.
12:20
And
pace
same with
right
same
now.
with Alice Riley. She keeps this up. She's around 11:50. She could PR as well.
Yep, and they're going to start running into lap runners. And let me take back what I just said about Corso, because she's now lapping runners. And you could get into a rhythm, even though they're not
Yeah.
running the same pace.
Kinda
you can still get a
slingshotting
rhythm.
past them.
Yep,
Yeah, you
and that
definitely
could
get
distract
pulled
you for a
along.
couple laps anyway.
It almost becomes a competition of how many runners can you get, and it's a good way to distract yourself, like you said.
Exactly.
I always used to help people out with that. If they needed to run a fast time, then they would, focus on me and lap me.
No. Always looking at the
The
positive.
sacrificial lamb.
Hey, I was in the race where O'Brien broke the state record.
You're in a state record-breaking race.
I was.
You were
I
there.
was the rabbit.
Indoors.
You should get a shirt saying that I helped.
Hey, the picture he posted on Instagram of him breaking the
7:02.
record, I was right next to him. I was 2 laps down, but I was next to him. Maybe it was 1 lap. I don't know. He was pretty fast, though. Might have been 2 laps.
She's at about 11:12, 11:15 pace now, Corso. And Alice Riley's coming through 2,000 meters. She'll be around 7:30. And that puts her at about 11:50 pace or so. 11:53 pace or so. Quinn Aldridge came through in 7:45. And that puts her up a little bit over 12:10 pace. And we'll see if she's 12:40 is her PR.
And now that Corzo's out front, you gotta think if you're running behind her, like you have Alice Riley and Quinn Aldridge, looking for just trying to PR and try to drop that seed time. If Alice Riley can go anything under 12:07, aim for that 12:05 or even sub 12 if she can. It's going to be better for her going into the state meet and championship season, as well as with Quinn Aldridge. If she can drop a nice PR today, that sets her up a lot better for the upcoming meets.
So Liza is 8:29, 8:28, which puts her on 11, still about 11:15 pace.
And that would be around her PR. Her
She's
seat
running
time
about
coming in is
11:15.
11:15.
Yep.
So we're going to see if she
You
can
would
drop
think that
something on
she
the last
did that in another meet where she was running by herself.
Yeah.
So if she's done, just wait. Let's just wait to see
see
what she does
can
in
do
Meet
on-
of Champions.
Exactly.
Be interesting to see what she does next week.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Maya Doobie, who's arguably one of the best, one of the top 2 in the state of distance right
Great
now
showing
this
today.
season anyway.
Great showing today.
She made that mile look effortless.
Very smooth throughout.
Quinn Aldridge still in 3rd. She's at 9:22. Here comes Liza. This is with 2 to go now, or 1 to go. Is this a gun lap?
This is going to be
right
her.
here.
This is going to be bell lap right here when she goes into it.
Yep.
I'm going to see what she has in this final lap. I expect to see a quicker
Give me
pace
about
going around.
9:52. Still 11:15 pace. She's a machine. She's a machine.
9:53, right? She went through 9:53. Let's see what she can do
She's a
this
machine.
last lap.
She could get a PR here.
I
Yeah,
think she
definitely.
will. I think she will.
She runs anything.
You can see
anything
she's starting to
around
turn it on right
80.
now. Starting to get that
She
turnover.
get a PR right here.
Now we have
Come on, Marlia.
she's going down that back stretch, looking pretty good.
Let's see where she's at around the 200.
T-shirts
Yeah,
are
she's gonna
now
PR.
on sale,
She's at about
on
10:31. She
sale
only has to run
at
like
the
a
concession
45
stand.
to match it.
$10 for T-shirts.
So she runs a 40 and she's pouring
And
it on.
she's pouring it
She's
on
gonna
right
break
now.
11:10.
She is.
Checking in at this point.
Alice
All
Riley coming through the lap to
4x4s.
go. Her last lap on this track and competition at 10:45. She's gonna have to work to break 12. But she can. Here comes Quinn. 11 minutes she'll come through about. If she runs a sub 90, that would be a 12:20 something. Here comes Liza. 11:05, 11:06, 11:07. Hello, one of the top times in New
11:08.
Hampshire. One of the top times in New Hampshire by Liza Corso.
Incredible effort.
And she gave it everything she had.
By
Especially
herself.
Completely by herself.
From the gun. From the gun. She
Tremendous
ran it by
race.
herself.
She's pretty happy. She's smiling and loving it.
She is tired, but she's loving it.
Tough to do.
Wow.
Now we'll see if Alice Riley and Quinn Aldridge as well, some of these other riders can put together some PRs.
.45 right now.
So we see Alice Riley from Belmont coming down the straightaway. She will not get a PR today, but incredible effort, again, running on her own. Very hard thing to do, and to be able to run pretty close to your PR, especially in the weather that may not favor the 3200. Great effort. As well as we see Quinn Aldrich of Messinic coming down the straightaway.
Coach still claims it's cool enough, but I don't know.